director for Girls on the Run of Lancaster and Lebanon, which helps girls know and activate their limitless potential. Katie also periodically teaches at Penn State, Harrisburg, in the communications program. And I put a copy of her whole bio on the table for you guys to read because I can't read the whole thing. Welcome.
Thank you. All right. I was going to do a PowerPoint, but I was like, oh, that's boring. How many of your speakers do PowerPoints? All right, so you did Happy Bucks. I do Confidence Armor. Are you intrigued? All right, how many of you have heard of Girls on the Run? What is it with this half of the room?
We're smarter.
Oh, you're smarter. Who can tell me what Girls on the Run means to you? It's okay if you have no idea. This is not a trick question. Yes?
Just giving girls a chance to do something, to be part of them, have an adult mentor, stuff like that.
Are you guessing?
I'm just guessing.
You get a confidence armor for that. Who else could tell me anything that has been your experience with Girls on the Run? Yes?
I know a teacher in East High here in town, second grade teacher. They get them young and they're trying to get them on a path to success by a young age.
One for you.
Good shot.
I tried. I also played sports in high school. What else can you tell me? Anything about Girls on the Run? Yes, sir.
I don't know. I think Lancaster and Lebanon are the same, but I know Harrisburg, the color is purple. Your color.
Harrisburg's color is purple. So Girls on the Run, pink, green, and purple. Yeah. So thank you for.
I was in Amsterdam and they had girls on the run.
All right. So how many of you think that it's a running program? Is this like I'm setting you up because you know not to raise your hands?
What was the question?
How many of you think that it's a running program?
I wasn't sure.
Oh,
They do run a 5K, correct?
they do run a 5K.
They train for a
Being
5K.
honest. Oh, I almost hit you in the head.
Try again.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story around what brought me to Girls on the Run and why I'm so passionate, and then tell you about what we do. And along the way, I'll throw so we give these to our girls. We call confidence armor. So the whole point of the program is to build confidence in girls so that they can grow up to be women with vision who change the world. So I came to Girls on the Run because when I was in graduate school, I was studying culture's influence on why there is a lack of women in the highest levels of leadership. Political leadership, business leadership, community leadership, civic organizations. What is preventing girls and women from living into their boldness and being limitless? And I came across a study that forever changed the course of my life. It was a study where these researchers looked at little girls and little boys when they're in elementary school and below will equally raise their hands if you ask them to lead. Name anything. You want to be the front of the line, you want to lead the class to do something, you want to lead a project, you want to be president of the United States, you want to be an astronaut, they will equally raise their hands. And then something happens to girls in middle school, and that trajectory continues into high school and college. They stop raising their hands. And it's because they don't have the confidence. Now you've heard, which is true, physiologically, boys mature behind girls, anywhere between 5 or 6 years. And most of the time we think of it, oh, the boys are silly, or they're immature, or they're goofy. But what's happening in middle school is girls are maturing, their prefrontal cortex is maturing, and they're starting to become aware of the social expectations of them. In the Girls on the Run world, we call that the girl box. It's all of the things that we've taught girls to believe about themselves and to question, from how they look to their role in society, and they're becoming aware of it, and they start to close in. Meanwhile, boys, now this I'm speaking broadly, like not every girl and not every boy goes through this. You probably know some and you'll challenge me, but there's always the anomalies. But boys, I mean, they're reckless and they may be stupid in making decisions, but they're not self-calibrating till probably in college is when they first become aware and beyond. And in fact, research also shows that women have to be asked 3 times to run for office before they will even consider it and say yes. Meanwhile, boys, men will volunteer. So I saw this and I saw myself in that. how often growing up I calibrated myself. I questioned, I knew I was smart, I knew I had gifts, but why did I always hold myself back? And it was this lack of confidence. It's not that I didn't grow up in a loving home or have a good education, so what was it? And there's no big reason, it's all of these influences on girls that they stay small. And I said, I want to be part of the solution to help girls grow up with the confidence to be and do whatever it is that they want to. You want to be president of the United States, you want to be a mechanic, you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you want to run an organic farm somewhere, you want to drive a truck, I don't care what it is. Know that you have the ability within you to follow your dreams, except for all of you singing in choir. No. Anyway, and I was in Leadership Lancaster at the time. How many are familiar with Leadership Lancaster? I feel like you already got it, Claire.
No, give them
You
somebody
are-
else.
Oh,
but
all the same ones.
But I do know.
And I was talking to a peer of mine, and she said, have you heard about Girls on the Run? I said, no, but it sounds like I should. That was 8 years ago. I fell in love with the organization. I served on the board for 7 years. And when the founder was ready to transition, Carrie Johnson, I started my own coaching and consulting firm at the time, and I said, I can bring all of the business that I know and that I've learned and to put the scaffolding and structure and process in place to set the organization up for the next season of growth. So at Girls on the Run, we believe and help girls know and activate their limitless potential so that they are free to boldly pursue their dreams. That is a beautiful vision and one that excites me every single day. And we do that by taking a structured, fun, research-based curriculum that creatively integrates running and other forms of physical activity. So Girls on the Run is the only program nationally that is recognized as a impactful, positive youth development program that takes, if you will, the best of sports and the best of character development into one. And from a longitudinal study perspective, there was an independent researcher, professor, who studied the long-term effects of Girls on the Run over the course of these girls' lives. As an entire organization, we're almost 30 years old. Our local council is 14 years old, and found that 97% of girls learned a critical life skill that they kept with them for life, and over 40% of girls permanently increased their physical activity. So how do we do this? Our organization, and so we're a federation model, I mean, much like Rotary. So there's a headquarters, and then there are chapters. In Girls on the Run, we have councils. We say Girls on the Run International because there's one Canadian council. It really should be Girls on the Run North America, but it sounds so much more important to say Girls on the Run International. So there's over 200 councils across the United States and in Canada. And our council in Lancaster serves both Lancaster County and Lebanon County as well. So our programs, we offer 3 different programs. The first one is called Girls on the Run. It is focused for girls in the 3rd through 5th grade. The reason why that's a pivotal time frame is that girls are starting to experience some of the pressures that will really come down upon them in middle school. Pressures about what their body looks like, about relationships, about girlfriendships. But research also found that adults are still cool. They have not reached that tween and teenage where it's like, oh, stop telling me what to do. They love adults, particularly not their parents. So coaches become this mentorship, this mechanism that brings the curriculum alive and makes connections with girls. It is for many of them, it's one of the only safe and brave spaces where they can show up and be seen and loved. So we have 2 seasons at Girls on the Run, a spring and fall season. They're each 10 weeks long. The girls meet in teams, facilitated by volunteer coaches. They meet twice a week for about 90 minutes, and the curriculum focuses, it builds on one another, and it focuses on everything from making healthy choices, from what you put in your body to how you take care of your body. We talk about what makes you special on the inside, not just the outside. We talk about relationships. What does it mean to be a good friend? What does it mean to be not a good friend? We talk about emotions. We don't talk about good or bad emotions. We talk about comfortable and uncomfortable emotions. Because for some girls, they've been taught that anger is the only appropriate emotion, so it's comfortable for them. Other girls, anger is very uncomfortable, and they've been taught to stuff it down. So we talk about what's comfortable and uncomfortable, and different levels of those emotions to give them language to be able to express what they're talking about to each other, to their parents, to their caregivers. And then we talk, what does it mean to be a good friend? What does it mean when you don't have a good friend? Which leads to peer pressure. So part of this is a preventative program to help girls lower risky behavior and make healthy choices in the long term. So we're teaching them now how to understand self-awareness, self-management, but understanding how they impact one another, so social awareness and relationship building. At the end of 10 weeks, so part of the curriculum is we're creatively integrating running and other forms of physical activity. So we make it fun. So here's an example. If we're talking about uncomfortable and comfortable emotions, it would be way farther away, but I might stand in one position and put 2 cones or 3 cones like 25, 50 yards away. And I might say, I'm gonna read to you a scenario, and I want you to run to cone 1 if that brings up an uncomfortable emotion. If it makes you comfortable, or that emotion is comfortable, run to cone 2, and if you're not sure, run to cone 3 and then come back. And while you're running there, I want you to think about why it's uncomfortable for you, why it's comfortable, or why you don't know. And then we're gonna come back and talk about it. So we play games while moving their bodies, and the point is to build their stamina so that at the end of 10 weeks, they run a celebratory 5K. Well, some run, some walk, some skip, some grunge the whole way, and they each have a running buddy to keep them safe and to encourage them. And at the end, there's a big celebration and they get a medal. And did you know that Girls on the Run 5K in Lancaster is the largest in the area? We had this last spring, over 3,500 people attend. We have 900 girls with their 900 running buddies and a couple hundred of community runners and spectators. And we do the same thing in the fall. So that's our core program, Girls on the Run. Then we have Heart and Soul. I know we're so witty. Heart and Soul is for 6th through 8th graders. So it's girls who are now in the middle school phase, so they're really feeling some of these pressures. And we use different language. So the Girls on the Run program, we use very small girl language. We talk about, so when we talk about like what makes you unique as a person, you and I would have adult conversations. With a little 3rd through 5th grader, we say, what's your name? Doug? Doug, what's your star power? And we talk about your star power in little girl language. So we're using it that's age appropriate. In Heart and Soul, they're middle schoolers. So we talk about things in a different way, and it's girl-led, which means we say, this week we're gonna talk about relationships. But what about relationships are you curious about right now, or are you struggling with? And the girls bring the topics to the conversation. Again, meet in teams, 10 weeks. There's a mentor, they run a 5K. And we also have a summer camp. 1 week, all-day camp every summer, where morning is traditional Girls on the Run curriculum, and the afternoon are field trip experiences. And for our girls, we're trying to expose them to things that they might not otherwise become aware of, or that we typically put girls in a girl box about, right? Go to be a teacher, a nurse, an artist. Those are all wonderful. But what about a mechanic or a trade? So we take them to Thaddeus Stevens, and the girls use machines and they make cool keychains. What about public service? Not being a police officer, a firefighter. So we take them to the Lancaster City Police, and they get to meet the canine unit and the horses, and they get to meet a female officer and a female social worker who works for the city police. We also take them to Columbia Crossings and work with a female, I totally lost, park ranger, and they learn how to fish. All of these careers that they might not have otherwise envisioned, giving them an opportunity to expose them. So those are our 3 programs. We're a nonprofit organization, and so here's how that works. It costs us around $300 to $350, watching my time, per girl to run the program. And that's everything from the curriculum that we buy, the licensing fees for Girls on the Run, background searches, background checks for all the coaches training, liability insurance, the girls get t-shirts, there's materials, all that stuff. We only charge $175 because we want to be an accessible organization. So already, every single one of our girls, there is a financial assistance that we provide. In addition, over 50% of our girls receive scholarship support, which means, and it's an honor-based tiered system where when caregivers sign up their girl, we make a recommendation based on their household income. So parents at the poverty line pay a minimum of $10, and if they can't even pay that, contact us and we waive the fee. We have found that at least if there's something that they pay, there's some skin in the game for them to be motivated to bring their daughter. So over 50% of our girls require scholarship on top of that. And so that's where we reach out into the community and we say, how can you invest in the future of girls? Individual donors, corporate donors. When we say Girls on the Run is so much fun, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And on top of it being fun for girls, we're meeting the moment of what's happening in our culture and our society. So coming out of the pandemic, teachers, social workers, administrators, and even at a federal level, there is a crisis of mental health in our children. And they have found that kids, particularly, are coming out of the pandemic unable to manage their emotions and stress. There is more anxiety, there is more depression at all levels. And the programming that we're offering to girls is a safe space for them to discuss what they're feeling, to discuss what they're struggling with, to make connections with one another, to be physically active. They've also found that kids coming out of the pandemic are more sedentary, right? Because after school programs were closed, the only thing is maybe if you participated in sports, but other than that, physical activity. So we're giving girls a chance to learn about how to manage their emotions, how to manage stress, how to talk about anxiety. All of our coaches are trauma-informed trainers. What that means is they recognize that our girls, I mean, we like to say Girls on the Run is so much fun and I'm throwing confidence armor at you and I'm animated, but we recognize that a majority of our girls are coming into this space struggling with something significant. Parental separation, foster care, food insecurity, suicide in their family, depression. These are real significant issues that these girls are challenged with, and we're helping them with the life skills and tools to be able to navigate that. Number two is that we live in a highly polarized culture. Would you agree with me? Yeah, we disagree, and we have now disagreed more vehemently than ever before. And these girls are gonna grow up in a world where they're gonna have to navigate significant social issues. We have lost the art of conversation and understanding one another. And Girls on the Run is all about finding strength in our connectedness and celebrating our differences. So how do we listen to one another? How do we recognize that it's okay, you're gonna differ in opinion, but we need to care about one another and we need to listen to one another and we need to talk it through. I feel like a lot of adults in our country need that too. Like, let's sit down, let's talk about the issue, let's work through, I mean, think about it, right? Like, I'm using silly language, but think about the basic elements of this. Let's sit down at the table and talk about this thing we disagree about. It's gonna bring up emotions inside of us, some that are very uncomfortable. I might get a little angry, I might get frustrated, I might get sad, but it's also not about me. I'm gonna recognize my emotions so I can manage them. I'm also gonna recognize that Marnie has emotions about an issue, and I'm gonna be aware of that, and how do we build a relationship and come to a common understanding? This is what we're teaching our girls that they're growing up with the ability to navigate these issues as adults. The third is, our school systems are stressed. Teachers are leaving in droves. And time after time, the teachers have said to us, I see Girls on the Run. The girls that are in my class, they are different. They help their classmates. The teachers who are coaches use the Girls on the Run curriculum in the classroom. They've also found that for Girls on the Run, because they love to come to the program
And it's mostly an after-school program held at school sites. It's not a school-sanctioned activity, but most of them happen at school sites, some of them at community places as well. The girls want to come, so from a truancy perspective, attendance, right? Girls, because to participate in our program, you have to attend every practice unless there is, you know, an emergency or a doctor's appointment or something. So from I want to help with my teacher. I want to help my fellow students. I know how to, I mean, think about a teacher in a classroom. To have students who are able to manage their emotion and put language to what they're feeling and what they need, and to help one another along the way, that's incredible. So for us, we see the relevancy of the program now more than ever, coming out of a huge, well, we're not even out of it completely, but coming through a pandemic in a highly polarized society where we're facing significant issues moving forward. So I'm so passionate about this program and seeing the work and the transformation that's happening in the girls' lives. And the beautiful part is it doesn't stop there. We provide every week to parents a parent's guide. Here's what your girl is learning. Here's how to talk about them and ask the questions if you want. Here's how you can apply this as a family. And we have found that families are transformed through this process because their girls are talking about it, they're teaching their siblings, the parents are having a conversation. And it's not just about the program. We rally around our girls in beautiful ways. I'll tell you one story. There was a mom, two parents. Dad left, mom, they lived in a trailer park and their trailer burned down. Now, there was a lot of ways people helped, but the Girls on the Run community, that team came alongside. The coach reached out to the team and they provided within hours clothing, food, support. There's so many stories of how just being a part of this community touches and transforms the lives of girls in ways that you can't imagine. And here's an example of something that we talk about, oh, it's a running program, or oh, it's just girls coming together. When I say a safe space to work through some trauma that they're handling, we had a little girl who, we have a no cell phone policy. Meaning if girls have phones, they have to leave it in their bags. And coaches abide by that too, unless every once in a while we take a picture of their cute little faces. We had a girl who just refused to put her phone down. She was looking at it constantly, and it was becoming an issue with the coaches because they would talk to her, please, Megan, that's not her real name, I'm making it up, Megan, you have to put your phone down, and she refused. So the coaches, understanding that the girl's behavior is not who they are, girls' behavior and all children's behavior is indicative of something else happening because we've trained them to understand that. So the girls reached out to our staff connected with the dad. The dad goes, oh, I know what's happening. Last summer, her mom left us. And her mom gave Megan her cell phone and said, when I want to talk to you, I'll call you on this phone. So this little girl had not talked to her mom in over a year and did not understand why her mom wasn't calling and was so focused on it she couldn't even break out of who she was. So we came up with a plan with the dad where we said to Megan, you can have your cell phone to the side when we're in circle time, and when we run our laps, one of the coaches will hold your phone and we will let you know immediately if someone calls, and each time you come around a lap you can check it. That made her feel safe, that made her feel seen, and for the rest of the season, she opened up because people understood her. We gave her a space to be who she is and meet her where she's at, and she could still learn and grow through the process. I have story after story after story, but this is just the beauty and the magic of Girls on the Run and something that I'm so proud to be a part of. So our local council was founded in 2009 by Carrie Johnson. Anybody know Carrie Johnson? Oh, you all should meet her, she's fantastic. Started by Carrie Johnson, and since 2009, we have served over 18,000 girls. We have provided over $1 million in scholarship assistance, and over 40,000 people have attended our 5K. So we have built this tribe and community of Girls on the Run friends and family that is truly transformative. Okay, 108. 1:30 hard stop. I know you have questions. What can I answer? Yes, and you get it.
So, all these girls that are served, is there a location like Lancaster? So how does a girl from Elizabethtown
Yes.
end up in this program?
Mhm. So on our website is the primary place. Now, to be accessible, girls can sign up through paper forms as well, but you can find a location on our website. So we have sites in Elizabethtown, so you could look up by location as to where there are sites each season. So right now, we're working with the coaches to set up the season, or set up the sites for the fall. But a girl can also come from any area. So for instance, I actually have a neighbor who his daughter's gonna participate, and she wants her friend to come from York. And I was like, if her parents wanna drive her from York, go have it. But what we have found is that it's more convenient for parents that if a girl is already at the school, that she can participate right from that school site. Good question. Oh, I missed it. Okay.
Curveball, do you have connections with the schools
Yes.
and the superintendent?
Yes. So I actually know Michelle Ballier. Anybody familiar with Michelle?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay, you all get confidence armor.
She's a member.
Oh, she is? Why is she not here?
She's in
Summer.
I'm gonna have to pick her crap. Okay, so I serve on the Lancaster Chamber's Board of Trustees with Michelle.
Okay.
So she's a phenomenal human being. But yes, so Michelle is a proponent. We've connected. So we are in every single school district in Lancaster County, all 16 school districts, as well as in Lebanon County as well. So we have wonderful relationships with the administrators, with the principals, and also with the advisors and counselors. In fact, we had administrators and superintendents calling us, begging us last fall and spring to have the program. Our challenge was we didn't have the coaches. So all of our coaches are volunteer, and the majority of them are teachers. Well, you can imagine teachers have been stressed out and said I just needed to take a break. So one of the reasons why I also love to come and speak is, guess what? You don't have to be a woman to be a coach at Girls on the Run. We have male coaches. You don't have to be a runner. You don't have to be physically active. You don't have to be of a certain age. If you are passionate about helping little girls grow up to be women with vision, we want you. Yes, sir.
We have a You Grow program on Masonic Village campus.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
You grow. I am. Mhm.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
So when you
Did
say-
you get one? I won't throw it at you. I'll toss it. Okay.
Got the
As I miss it.
underhand.
They don't have weight to them.
First of all, if Glenn signs up, do not let him be a coach. He's evil.
Lord have mercy.
But as far as practice is concerned.
Yes.
Like, is it 5 days a week, 1 day a
Oh,
week?
good
What
question.
is
Yeah.
it?
So the girls meet in teams twice a week for 90 minutes. So we have coaches who are lead coaches who will be there for both times. We have assistant coaches so even I will coach now and then because I just love listening to these girls and just hearing the insights and transformation. The irony of me saying I don't have the time to coach when I'm the ED of the organization, but so I will coach 1 day a week. So if you can give up 90 minutes 1 day a week or even twice a week, that's the commitment for 10 weeks. Yes, sir.
And you don't have a program for high school kids?
No, we don't have. What? We have what we call the continuum of confidence. So what we have found is that girls who go through the program, through Girls on the Run and Heart and Soul, love to be a part of it, but they've also matured. So we have junior coaches, which are high school students who come. They're closer to the girls' age. The girls think they're so cool because they're teenagers. And they help build a connection with the girls and girls. So we have the opportunity, and it builds a leadership opportunity for those high school students as well. Something they can put on their resume, their college entrance applications, but it also gives them the ability to practice those leadership muscles. And we also have an associate board. It's they're not governance, so they don't have governing or voting ability. But to practice, what does it mean to lead an organization, to be a part of a board? And so they're typically in their early to mid